Hi everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk, and today we have a special guest, Steve, and we met online. This is the first time talking to you, Steve. How are you? Tell
I'm
everybody
doing I'm
experiences.
doing I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Um, I'm pretty much done with my mission of like bringing the diamond light, breaking a lot of these mainframes that were over the earth. I've been covert for a while, but I have been posting videos since 2019 of all the operations that I have been doing, and a lot a lot has been shown to me the past few months of the operation that I've been a part of and who was involved and where I've been. And I'm ready to disclose all the information that I have accumulated since my awakening since 2014, and then my mission that I started in 2019, which was like the cosmic arena of actually doing the work that was needed to be done. So it was a lot of work. Um, and I was doing shadow work the same time that I was doing these missions too. So it was like all together, like we would invade these mainframes and then I would get memories of things that I was a part of because these mainframes were holding pieces of our souls in there. So it was very interesting. And I wrote, I mean, I got about almost 95% of what I did written down and I put it all together. I just finished my transcript for my book. Now I'm editing it, and it's really awesome. But I was gonna end it in June, but I got all this new information in July, so it actually made the ending better because actually this morning around 3 or 4, I felt the Earth explode with diamond light all over the solar system, and there was some inverted energy system on some planet and the diamond light just cut right through it. I and me and the earth are like we melded together. I've actually merged with her. So like I was laying on the grass like a day before this happened and we merged together and like we were just like kind of talking amongst each other. And I was shape shifting into my dragon at the same time. We were like cuddling, that's what it felt like. It was very love because I've always been a very good ally with her, and she's always kept me alive when I died and stuff in like higher dimensions. And yeah, it's been a journey. It's a love story, my book. So a lot of different aspects of her that I've had to work with and recollect all these creation codes to reactivate a lot of these systems that were brought down from these archons. So we reactivated everything, got the Diamond Knight integrated into Agartha, and just slowly kept working at breaking more stuff and finding these mainframes that were in pocket. They existed outside the void, so they would go out in the void and then attack celestial spheres or different sections of the universe through these portals and stuff like that. So we had to go find them.
Yeah, I know that I have remote views some under Antarctica. They're like in lockers and like inside.
Okay, that's
And
funny you bring that up because July 7th, 7/7, I had a dream where I was scrolling through Facebook and this woman had um, a map program that I downloaded from Facebook, and it had the whole map of Antarctica, and she was explaining to us where the battles were. It was like in the west wing of Antarctica, and there was like a big ice shield around Antarctica with mystical beasts and stuff, all like they're all labeled on this map and everything. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. So
yes, and then I've also seen because I named this. I'm like, what am I going to name this? Because I remote viewed how they used some of us, especially in the Hulk program, and I labeled it the 99 because I saw strands of red and green being taken from us to make these now these new super soldiers that are under still they're sleeping under Antarctica in the glass. Well, it looks like glass, but it's really ice, and it's like wow. This is crazy. And just last night, Steve, I haven't even posted. I was just writing it right now. Just last night, a bunch of us were in, it's like this dark, it was dark, it was at nighttime, and then inside we're like living inside the caves, but they're actually connected to some houses. And me and a bunch of people were on a mission, and I'm like, wait, where did he go? Because there was this guy that went with another young girl, and then they were telling me, well, go through the wall. I'm like, oh, there's a door there, you know? Oh, Chad's here. Yay, he made it. So there was and then it's kind of like the movie Beetlejuice, like when she draws, hi Chad, thank you for coming, when she draws on the wall, the Beetlejuice, the Davis, I think her name is, and she draws on the wall, and then she knocks like 3 times and opens the door to the wall, and I'm like, this is what I was in last night. Like we were doing some kind of mission, taking some information into the caves and things like that. But I find it very interesting. A lot of people have told me that they've had dreams of, people living in the walls. And I've seen them too in other flashbacks. But anyway, Chad, Steve was just telling us that he's almost done with his book. He's done some transcripts. It's almost going to go to publishing, right, Steve? And that he just merged in with Mother Earth, and that we are dragons. A lot of us that were here before were fighting the big wars, and he's also a dragon. So thank you, Chad. How's your day?
Oh, it's going all right. Yeah, thank you. I'm in a new location, so I'm relocating. Yeah, no lights, no nothing like that. So sorry for the.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have I have a PowerPoint that I made for
Oh,
for the for the show.
all right. Yeah.
So like I like to be organized with all my information. So
Okay.
explain my journey, my missions. So I have it all. It's more of a military slide of all the stuff that I'm connected to, and yeah, I seem to be working with the Department of Defense in their black projects. Robert McFarlane is one of the commanders, and he's working with the Arcturians, and he's also working with the Knights of the Round Table and Uther Pendragon.
The Templars.
Um, he's working with, well, I was a Nazi before all this, but I broke away after Maria Orszag started working with demons, and we broke away because we wanted purity. We were connected to the Brahmins and the Hindus
Yes.
and
Mhm.
the old Tibetans, and we were trying to do the pure way, and they were trying to do it through chemicals and injecting people and changing their blood and being like the Ubermen, and we were totally against that. We were trying to use star energy to in our dragon essence, to unlock our abilities. So we broke away and we created our own faction,
Mhm.
and that's why I have that Hindu swastika out there, because our officer quarters had that in the back of the walls and everything in the officer quarters. And my great grandfather's involved. I got them out of Mars. They take a lot of after a lot of these war veterans die, they'll take them to Mars and make them fight and power their energy grids. So I got him out first, and then I promised everyone else that was around me. They saw me come down and get them, and I told them that I'll get them all out, and we eventually did. And we ended up blowing up that area. But
And why?
Ivan told me that they always pop up in different locations and stuff down there. So we're constantly like breaking their stuff, and then they like create little other sections. So Mars is a mess.
I'm so glad that we broke off, because I was with the Dark Fleet and then Nahuatl. And when I did break away from just the negative Alpha Dracos, because one of the Alpha Dracos was my father.
Hmm.
And I a few years ago, like I woke up in 2017, and like I think it was finally in 2020, I said no more. Like I don't want to be part of it. And then right after that, there was I was in dream, and they had my son in a headlock like that, and they said, if you don't come back to us, we're gonna, end him. And I said, no, you're not going to. And my friend Christy Campbell just told me that it was what's his name? James Caswell that wanted him for his mission, and that I said no over my dead body, and that he does respect me, so he let him go. And I said, no, you're not gonna have my kids with this, enough is enough. And then the whole Hindu thing, my goodness, they're the ones that are in charge of when we leave this plane of existence, like say we're done, they
Yeah.
try. Yeah, so I have some
Yeah,
book.
we actually they kind of severed away from the original Tree of Life because it got invaded. And when I got back into Yahweh Sphere in 2022, I had to reconnect the Hindu energy back to Yahweh's and then re-energize all the celestial spheres. And once I got to Yahweh's sphere, I went into his temple, and then the Tetragrammaton integrated into my energy field to give me the ability to sing with the celestial spheres um, to encode the diamond light with the sphere. So when we activated the grid, it would charge up the whole tree of life, and then the energy went all the way up to the Hindus and wrapped around and came back down, energized the whole system. Because I got back into Agartha, and that allowed me to enter to was it to anchor the energy into the core of the earth and everything. And this all kind of occurred in August, um, with my ability to get there because I was working with a fairy that I ended up having past life experiences with, and she held all the Celtic codes for me to get. And then Daniel gave me the what is it, the knot, um the Trinity knot. She gave me the Trinity knot, and that allowed me to get into the white sphere where Sophia was, and then we merged, and then we blasted off in this white dimension, and I went into this blue star, and it was small, but then it blew up to like 1,000 times its size, which I think it was maybe one of the galactic cores of this universe, and it supercharged it. So
Yeah, when you
a lot
said
of work.
yeah, Steve, thank you. When you said sphere, that's like the eighth sphere. That's what I see. And then the star, I think it's the two-eye stone, the one that has the six sides, that we are able to communicate to the other realm.
Okay.
That's what I saw. But go ahead.
Yeah, it was dying. It was dim, and then my energy and Sophia's must have been the Earth. It blew up in enormous size, and it was quite. My body was really like I told Ivan about it because he channeled Daniel, because that Daniel was the one that kind of initiated it. And he was like, "Well, that looks like a lot," and I'm like, "Well, I was in complete ecstasy when it was happening." You know? It was amazing. But it all came from the Celtic. That was like the final key, was the Celtic energy that I had to get. And then I had to get Morgana's the black shadow energy. So that helps me shapeshift into my dragon to complete the Helios Gamos. I did the Helios Gamos fairy, and I saw myself go into a void space. We created the golden barrier around the universe, and then within the golden barrier, we created golden nervous system within our beings, which created the infinity loop, golden infinity loop. And we were like two triangles too. And that was actually in the flower of life. The schematic was in there. So everything's all interconnected. All these face that's in the photo. It's like a lot what we use to create all this diamond light and everything.
Yeah.
And it
I don't know if you're familiar with what's his name? Oh, gosh, great. Um that Asian guy that talks about the Varsarka and the plasmoid gods supposedly that are in the harp systems, like in the military complex. and they hold them down with a swastika. That swastika, the not that one with the little dots, but the original one is to hold things down as well. And it's it actually came, I believe, from when the Native Americans were here and they had the communication with either the Hindus or the Draconis. Have you heard of that? His name is Chad, do you remember? He was supposed to be on the show. I always listen to him. Well, I guess they don't want me to say his name, but go ahead. You can talk about your PowerPoint more and then more about your book and
When you're talking about, oh, okay, no. Okay, I don't know who you're talking about. I know Praveen, I think Praveen Mohan Praveen, he does a lot of deciphering of the temples and what they're saying and stuff, but I don't think it's the gentleman you're talking about.
Yeah, the tumbles are important because they're like the load centers. Think of it like an electrical system. You had your
Yeah,
panel board, right? The temple is the panel board, and the consciousness is the power center. We sit on the thrones, inject our energies down into the throne chair, into like an energy reservoir, and then there's channels and nodes, and the columns are the powers like amplifiers, and there's nodes under the pillars, and the pillars will light up as we interject our energy under the nodes, and it runs through channels, and then once it goes out the door, it runs into one channel, and then it goes out through the whole land, and it will charge the whatever the megalithic structures that are all around in the area, will charge them up, and it's a big circuit board, and the circuit breakers are the columns, and
I've gone through
it,
in Nevada in a flashback. I was, of course, we do a lot of stuff in the astral dream form. But yeah, I was like, whoa, what are these two huge towers? And then it felt like Nevada, like, and then and like Montana, and then that specific one connected to the one in Washington, that huge mountain that everybody talks about under Washington.
Shasta, Mount Shasta.
Yeah, Mount Shasta. And I even got a coin to confirm it
yeah.
out of the blue.
Or actually, that's California. Sorry.
When I received that channel message, I was working with a woman that was from Mount Shasta, and her energy came in with the channel message that I had. She was on top. She was on top of the mountain using Tibetan bowls as this was occurring. Yeah, it was, like I told her, she was freaking out. She's like, my heart started palpitating, my head was buzzing when I was. She was like, and I'm like, this is incredible, and she's part of the Emerald Order, as we all are, So, um, it was just all these confirmations occurred all at once, and I was working with this woman from China who was also she was a royal lion before she came here, and she helped create the Tao with all her. So like we all like went into different locations on the earth, and then we were like connected portals from the mountaintops, and we would visit each other, stuff like that, or send messages through the channels of the earth and get messages telepathic, and it's like,
I'm so glad you said that because you explained it. Because I always tell people they use our energy, and it's like we are the crystal beings, like I say, the bioluminescence that powers up this earth, right? We can power up 10,000 suns just with one of us, and that's why
mhm.
they targeted us and infiltrate us. And it's like, you know, we're all here. We're all here. Some have gone, unfortunately, our brother Max, but he's still with us. And they can't stop us. They just can't.
No, we're breaking free, and we're getting all our power back. And when I came out of the Black Goo prison, they really put me to work because I had the original codes of everything. So they're like, you got to break everything and get more people out, and it'll get easier as it goes along. People will start joining you, and that's what exactly I did. I right when I got so they so when I got out of the pit, um, I went up to, it was like the third day, I went up to this big yellow ball, and he told me that he was proud, and he likes hard workers, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done. The next day, I was working with my buddy who ends up being one of the people in the Knights of the Round Table, which I didn't know at the time. But we were invading a black mainframe. But I was raw. I didn't have any technology. I was just using my cosmic energy. So my higher self was absorbing energy from planets nearby to get enough to get through the mission and everything. And my buddy, I told him what I was doing. He's like, "Stop! You're wrecking the balance of the universe and everything." I was just laughing at him. I was like, "What do you want me to do? I don't have your freaking battle suit, dude. I'm just like energy, you know." So, but we got the mission done. It's really hard, and at the end, about like maybe when everything started calming down, this black archon demon came and teleported into the kitchen that I was working. And he was threatening me, and I just looked at him, and I'm like, "You're done. You are done. This is the beginning of the end for you." And he teleported away, and then they started attacking me the next day. All these black magicians started getting on my ass, making me go into psychosis, thinking cops were at my house and stuff like that. I was a mess for a whole week. They threw me into the void. I felt I was like, my consciousness was just like collapsing in on itself, but I blew out like chi energy and everything returned back to normal. And I went back to my house and I was like safe. So it was a freaking battle. And then I ended up collapsing all these dimensions. But I could share my PowerPoint if you want on my screen,
Yes, please.
and we can get that going.
Yeah, and if you see
Because
me go away, that's because I have a German Shepherd and I always have to like, you know,
well, I
calm.
got a golden retriever right by my feet.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and
Yeah.
share. And then
Yeah.
if John has
Okay.
a question.
All right.
It's
More.
interesting what you were saying though about the mountaintops, because a lot of people see them as those giant trees that have broken off, and then their root systems would have been connected underneath. I think if you were on a mountaintop, so they would have been like an internet or something going on there. And then also the nervous system within the trees is lined with gold, or it's made out of gold, and it's in with
Yeah,
the and everything.
yeah. So I was looking
Yeah.
this up, and one of was making synthetic gold through consciousness, and that's exactly what I did. We used our
Mhm.
consciousness to create the gold and the energy through sexual union.
Mm.
And Enki was really good at it, and it's called Helioscamos. It's like that's how you create fertility into the cosmos. It's how you create stars, galaxies, and everything. And when it was awesome when I experienced it. Like I had the golden phallus, energy was shooting out of it, and it felt like a million orgasms without any fluid coming out. It was just energy, just
Mhm.
flying out. And I shape shifted into my dragon. I felt my tail grow out. The spikes. It was painful. It was like it just like flew out of my back, like all the spikes and my wing and everything. So I really tapped my sacral blew open, and then just all this energy gorged out through my phallus. And then that's when I saw myself in this void space. And it was weird because when I connected with the fairy, it felt like I got sucked into some magnetic lock. And like I was like I tried getting out of it a little bit. I'm like, whoa, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, whatever, I'll just go with it. And then I just let it go, and my conscience just took me where I needed to go, and I did it, and it was beautiful. Like all the nervous systems all got lined up with gold energy, and we were like translucent energy beings and everything. It was beautiful. So let's see here, slideshow. Is it showing?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. So the beginnings, I was born at Fort Bliss, Texas. Project Paperclip. Uh, Flashed in my body at 5. I forgot everyone. I flashed in my body. I forgot everyone in the house. I just had to learn who everyone was. It was bizarre. One moment and then like 9 or 10, I woke up in the middle of my living room. Didn't know how I got there. No history of sleepwalking, nothing at all. When I was in middle school, I started visiting this weird website at my local live in my school. alternate timelines and astral projection. I would always dress up as G.I. Joe when I was little with army pants and everything. I'd always had to watch it every Saturday morning. Um, Loved Top Gun. That actually ended up being like a program for me to complete missions. Um, I would drift. I would After sports practices and I was tired. I would lay in the back of the bus and I would find myself like dissociating a little bit. And I saw like laser battles and destroyed landscapes, stuff like that. And I kept having recurring dreams of going into an astral base where a man was yelling, "I am God, I am God, I am God." And I ended up visiting this dream again when I was like in October in 2019, and I finally like just like decided this enough is enough, and I broke free from it. So that was my beginnings.
Real quick, Steve, when you said you flashed into your body at 5, so that means you're walking like I am
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay, I was figuring that too,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was just like, what is going on here? So awakenings, 2010, I had a vivid dream storming the Spider Queen facility. This was when I was in college. Um, we ended up successful, but we were escaping from a warthog from like Halo, from the Halo games, and we got chased, and they blew our warthog up. It flipped over, and then as soon as it flipped over, I woke up. And then 2014 was like my first phase of my awakening. I saw a Taurus field at a music festival. I saw the isohedrons floating over the water and everything, and it went all over the lake and then like the hills and everything. Um, see here. Oh yeah, then I started meditating after I saw this. I was intrigued. Started connecting to a bunch of divine feminine energies. They were teaching me tantra, learning how to manipulate energy. The Metatron's cube opened up in my palms when I was working with my field. Then this Native American was working with me, and she saw that she brought me to the dragon realm, and I saw a red dragon flying around. So they were showing me who I am. I'm a red dragon. Then I went into a wormhole when I was meditating on a wooden chair. I saw a chained angel in the void. Then I started the Druid mentor. I started working with this guy at a restaurant, and I was telling him the stuff that I was experiencing, and he ended up being a Druid, so he took me under his wing. And then a week before my Kundalini awakening, I went to go see him and his girlfriend, she's Egyptian. She's got Egyptian um, past lives. She worked on me, and she noticed that I had a lot of like black energy in my shoulders. She started releasing it, and I started crying. And she told me that once I release that, I'll feel better. Well, a week later, I get my Reiki attunement, and then this is when it all came out. I found out that I was in the abyss, in some alternate purple dimension on some moon. There was a black obelisk on top of the desert that I came out of. Big yellow beam blasted me out. I was in like the lake of fire, scorched earth, billions of bodies burning, all red and all fire that I came out of. And they threw me over to the outside of this black. It was all black geometric grids. And there was black wires strapped onto my back and everything that blew out. And then I got raised, and these black things were trying to like wrap around me and try to get me back down there, but the yellow beam kept like blowing them out. It was so chaotic,
What
and
I
I was just
you were with the bad, we'll call them the bad vampires. Though that's what the
yeah.
vampires do. They want to keep us, with the black goo. Not
Mhm.
only military, okay, but the military uses also these, not just the technology, not just the drones that they shoot us, shoot weapons to us or whatever, the DW, but they literally have vampires. Yes, and the black tentacles, that the black spider thing technology that tries to weave us into their, cocoon black thing. I can
Yeah, the
totally
cocoon. I've
I can
seen I actually, one of my friends, the same guy that I saw in this dream in the astral military, um, I found him, he like overdosed, and I saw him going into this black cocoon and these black grids, and he was freaking out, and he hit my energy when I was working. He pulled me into that dimension that he was going, and he was about to metamorph into a fucking black archon demon. So I went up to him. I started pulsing his heart in this dimension, and then he broke free, and it was wild. And I saw like thousands of other people in this grid, and I ended up breaking it all when I was at work. I was actually throwing bowling balls down the lane, channeling the energy into the pins as it was like exploding these grids. So I was like really upset. I get mad when I see this stuff. So my higher self like activates so much energy to break it all, because I was in this stuff too, and I know that like if you're in this for too long, your soul essence can unravel, and then you don't even exist anymore. The whole shielding of your soul disembers, and then it breaks away. Oh.
yeah.
And
Then
so
the
I
body,
just
sorry, and then the body that is left on Earth, which is the clone, they just destroy it and they say, "Oh, your son or daughter died of epileptical attack or heart attack or whatever the F they want to say." You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah, it was a big problem. The universal grid was falling apart when I got out of this black void, and I was in shock because I saw these dull yellow Merkabas, like they had like holes on them and stuff, and people were just like falling through into the black void, and I was just there like catching them and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is this like this? Like, and there was like all these other entities that were around watching, and I just started yelling at them. I'm like, why aren't you helping them? Like, this is awful. And I was just, oh my, I was just so happy to finally get out of my prison. And I'm like, I'm going to fix this. And I made it my mission to do it. So that happened in August of 10th. You know what was funny about the Mike? It was the same day that Jeffrey Epstein died. I didn't even know about that. So I think it was like a year after. Like I looked it up, and I was like, of course, you know. So I became the Universal Grid is falling apart. Then I began missions with. I told you about how I broke up the Black mainframe with a fellow member of the Knights of the Round Table. I was actually telling him stuff that I was doing, and he's like, "Dude, you're doing stuff that I don't even know about." I'm like, "Well, you better learn because I'm going to need your help," you know. So I started having I had a dream of going to that military base. I astral plane broke through the cement ceilings of the base, and then the next day they reprimanded me for it. Told me I can't do that, so they transferred me to my family's living quarters because my father was in the military. He's at Fort Bliss, and my grandfather was in the military. No, everyone was in the military
You
in
must
my
have been
family.
Dulce based like me and the others. Dulce based
Yeah,
has layers. Yeah.
I've been told me that I've had a lot of success of breaking up a lot of the Dulce energies and up there. The Archons were freaking pissed with what I was doing because I knew their programming. I have Zeta energy, so I can like see the digital code of these binary code numbers, and I just like boom, and it just like so. Yeah, so they take me to quarters, and then I asked my friend that I was working with to get me free because they were going to transport me to a different facility. So this was the night of the Area 51 raid that was going on, and when I went to sleep again that night, and I saw that they were transferring me. I had this big cage over my head, and I had walking boots on my feet so I couldn't jump away and like astral plane away and everything. And they put me in a Humvee, and then they drove, and then they hid behind a rock, and I saw all these dune buggies come up. They looked like they had like dragon features, and I felt my friend from work, because I work with him. I could feel his energy. I know his heart signature. And he came in, and he ripped open the door. He got all the stuff off of me, and we shapeshifted in the wolves, and we ran away. And then I woke up after we were hollowing in the moonlight. All there was like three of us. We were all hollowing after we got free because we're like the freedom fighters. So I wake up, my kundalini is surging in my back because I just shapeshifted like back to my human form. And I'm just like ecstatic. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting free, let's go. So that was happening. And then I visited Galactic Port like a week after my Kundalini awakening, and they were like processing. I had like, because I was showing them the truth of what was happening on this Earth and in the whole universe too, that this universe at least. And they sent me back to Earth, and they let me pretty much do whatever I needed to do, a lot of lone wolf operations. And then I would come back with military. I was giving all these people information of the things that I was doing, and I was getting more allies, more help. And then like we created this huge organization of just people that went against the false light, false dark, and we just broke freaking everything, just going ham shit. And it was awesome because I was talking to a bunch of people on Facebook, and I would just connect my higher self with them, and I would locate them, and I would break them free, and then we would do missions more and more and more, and it just became this cascading. Free people from Mars, all these World War II officers and everything. We got them all out of Mars. Then they all started fighting because their families were being taken advantage of too, and they wanted to get them free. So it just became this huge movement.
You know,
So
whenever you talk about Navy, let me know because I have a very huge memory that I just cannot forget about World War II, and I'm still looking for him. Um, let me know when you want to talk about that. Go ahead with your,
okay.
because it's important. Thank
So
you.
on the 19th, the day after I get back to the Earth, my my crown dogs are going crazy. Sorry. So my crown blew open, and I ran to a counseling center that was right around the corner from me, and it felt like dimensions were blowing out from behind me. I felt like 300 to 1,000 pounds just running to this counseling center, and like I felt it like sucking me back. So I just kept running. I was like running in slow motion, and I got to the counseling center. I like hurried up and opened the door because I just felt like it was like coming at me. And I closed the door, and the dimensional shift just ended. And I felt safe. And I shouted, "I'm back." And the counseling lady was like freaking the hell out because she had no idea what was going on. And I'm like, listen, I was a little frantic because this the state I was collapsing dimensions. And I told her like I just need someone to talk to calm down. So she put me in her room, and I sat down, and I just started I just sat there breathing heavy, and then I felt this entity enter into me, and I just sat there collecting the energy of what he brought into me, and then my consciousness flew in the back. Then the cops came, and they started asking me my question, but I just sat there in silence. And the cop came up to me with his flashlight. He hit my heart right in the center, and my heart exploded with energy. And then the entity that was in me told him who he was. I am Michelangelo. And then he told me that I was gone for 10,000 years. and I shot it out. I was gone for that long, or 10,000 years. I was gone for that long. I shouted at the cops, and they're just like, "This kid is off his fucking rocker," you know. But my consciousness blew out. I was still in control of my body. I got up. I put my hands out to get handcuffed. I was being real compliant, you know, and like I was like really happy. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting my energies back. But then they threw me back in the police cruiser, and then this is when like all hell just broke loose. This black ball entered into my body. It was trying to take my body. I was fighting it off. My consciousness kept blowing out. I was losing, like it was about to slip out, and I was just fighting to keep myself inside my body. And then I ended up I saw zombie timelines. I saw myself in castles shooting zombies and all kinds of stuff that I remember the zombie stuff though. And then like I started asking for a shot for some reason. I don't know why, but they put me on a stretcher and I went into this white dimension, and I go into it, and there's this big lake in the middle, kind of like this, but it was a white dimension, and the dimensional doorways were all on the outside of the dimension, and it was like cartoon land. But I was phasing in this dimension. I was like electric static white in this area, and I was like sending a message to them. I like
That's
bypassed all, yeah, I bypassed all the Archon stuff to tell them what was going on in this place, and I'm telling them we need help, or this place is going to fucking blow the hell up. And so I returned. So after that, I eject back out of that white portal, but instead of going back in my body, I was still in my body, but I saw myself, my higher self, flying through the universe like uncontrollably. I saw galaxies, nebulas, just like I was just like floating through, just like ejected. And Nikola Tesla come pick me up, and he put me in the bay doors, and then he threw me into a pod. He's like, go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. I'm freaking, you know. But yeah, it was like a stasis pod and everything. And then I started getting shocked electrically in my wrists and everything. And I started yelling at the nurse that was in the ambulance as they were taking me. And I was just seeing all this stuff. I was seeing like the beginnings of Earth, and that like we were like bipods running through forests and stuff like in the Earth that was just created. And then I they rushed me into the hospital, and then I saw myself go into a black hole, and Ganesha and a few other Hindu deities were there helping me. Ganesha went into my body, and then all my tools that I held within me started deprogramming this matrix mainframe that was inside this black hole. And I started shouting out binary code numbers. So they carted me to this room. I get out of the black hole. Now I'm kind of just like my higher self is finding its way back to me, you know. But it took about 20 minutes for me to finally get back in. But right before my higher self came back into my body, I yelled at the nurse to shut the door, and he got frantic. He like hurried his ass up and closed the door when I told him to do it. It was so strange. And then as he closed the door, in my mind's eye, I saw like this fire like flying down through the hallway of this hospital. And like I was safe in this little box that they put me in the hospital that they held me in. And then about 25-30 minutes after that, I finally came to, and right when I got back to my body, I just yelled, fuck, you know? Because it was such a crazy experience, but I was back to normal. So they keep me there for like an hour so I'm stabilized, and then I went home, and they didn't take me to the psych ward or anything. My higher self blurted out to them that I was on LSD, so they just thought I was having an episode. So that allowed me to continue to do missions
but
for like the next few months.
did they shoot you up with anything like they usually do
No,
or give you?
just some liquid in the ambulance. they put it on my tongue. I don't know what it was, but it was kind of sweet. So I
And
don't know. I don't know what it. I think maybe it was like a serum for people that they think are like on LSD or something like
like
that.
a
Maybe.
shot of, hormones and sugar and something else.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not sure what it was.
to me, I see it's kind of like they gave you some hormones, sugar, like something mixed with the base. Yeah. Oh, anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So that happened on August 19th. And then cabal attacks and stuff. I experienced a lot of that. Um, Pushed me into psychosis all the time. Sent viruses through videos. Some woman I was talking to on Facebook sent me a International Space Station moonwalk, and a virus came out of that and went into my mind. I started going into psychosis, so I threw the virus into my heart and I burnt it up. I was envisioning the Tree of Life grid. I had a big poster of it, so I was looking at it, just like envisioning that structure. And then I burned it all up, but it took me a good 20 minutes to get back into a base state. I disfriended her right after that. Sonic weapons that make my consciousness static. They were emitting from cars across the street from me. Black magicians that try to split my consciousness. This occurred in 2022 when I was at my mom's house. I ended up using my tuning forks to break up their field, and I went back to normal. I already said how they threw me in to the void, and most recently now they've been blocking my pineal and crown, so and which is starting to open up now. I felt it yesterday, and like
Does
this like whole last week it started opening up again.
does it feel like they, to me, when they try and do that, it's like they throw they wrap around a like a towel, like they wrap your head around real tight. How does it feel for you?
It feels like they put a bunch of Archon demons inside my subconscious because I actually had a dream breaking through cardboard walls in my subconscious and seeing demons. And then I also saw closed doors and closets with like thousands of these things inside my subconscious. So they're like little compartments of my subconscious.
I've seen those.
Yeah, I opened the door and I saw all that. I just like closed it right away. I was like, holy shit, I gotta get rid of that. And handlers try to control me. They don't, you know, they're unknown. They unknowingly know, they don't know any of the things I'm going through. I try telling them, it scares the shit out of them because they seen the dark side of the psychosis and stuff, but they don't see the beautiful things of like when we get people home through portals and stuff like that, or connect to a divine frequency and feel that love vibration. They don't understand that part. So the good comes with the bad as well, but the bad is because of these black archons and their archonic grids, and that you're breaking their abuse of light and dark because you don't play their game. You never did. So they attack you the most. So yeah. So that's like the cabal attacks. They sit in their little circles and do their rituals. I was talking to my brother the other day and I saw them doing the same thing that they always do, and I ended up intercepting it and I broke it. So he's like, "Wow, I feel so much better right now." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, they're just everywhere." So I already explained the astral military skate. Augmentation. So this started occurring pretty early. Arcturians bring me in two women to activate their energies on a spaceship. I was bright yellow. The woman I was with was like green energy, and this other woman was like a purple butterfly. She had a purple aura around her, and the Arcturians were like activating us. There was like a lot of different starseeds in there too. I saw like at least 50 others in this little spaceship, and the Arcturians were just kind of going around like putting their hands on top of people and like activating their field and stuff like that. And then on the 13th, Arcturians bring me up to their ship. They beam me codes from their systems with the blade, and so it's green and blue energy that I received. That day that I got it, I was playing with it at work, and then like I almost like activated like my kundalini through like my whole skull and everything. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm at work. And then the October 25th, I was laying in bed, and I was like drifting. I wasn't sleeping yet, but then I saw a doctor working on my optic nerves. He put balloons in between my eyes, and then there was like a monitor on the screen checking my optic nerves, making sure that they were good and everything. He put like a magnet like on my, and like he was like moving it around and everything. It was really interesting, and it was a little painful. Like I felt it in the physical. He was doing it. I like felt my eyes moving around and stuff like that. But I stayed silent because I wanted to know what he was doing. But he was real jubilant. He was like real nerdy, you know. So he was like a geek. So it wasn't bad in any way. Just making sure that I was all right and everything. Because I was doing a lot of missions at this time. Um, and I was brought to a facility. This is in 2022. Uh, this is when the Project Sapphire or Operation Sapphire was commenced. Ivan Teller, I was meditating, and Ivan Teller brought me. He connected. I was meditating. He connected to my field, and it is his signature greetings. It's like there's something you have to connect to, and then this purple beam like latched onto me and brought me to a facility where I saw my commander, and the same guy that was the same person that I was doing missions with at my workspace was there too. So they put me in a pod. I started integrating energy. I didn't fall asleep at all that night. I felt my body shape shifting and stuff. It was a little painful, but it wasn't too bad, you know. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting prepped for something, you know. I mean, I knew back in April something was occurring, so I started getting back in shape, running, doing all kinds of stuff to get in order. Because I got yelled at by my commander. He was mad that I wasn't in shape. He was reaming me. He was so mad. He's like, you need, you know. I'm like, well, okay. So the Red Dragon stuff, uh, when I got out of the abyss, I wrapped my Red Dragon around Earth. I was red. I began integrating my essence late at night. I was laying on the grass in my backyard, and I felt the wings kind of come out. I felt the claws. I felt my dragon legs and everything. It was all integrating, and it was pretty euphoric. I like that feeling in my shapeshift. And then shapeshifting into it several occasions: August 27th, 2022, August 28th, 2022, September 28th, 2022. Like those are pretty heavy ones. Like that was kind of painful. Um, I have a strong dragon nose, allows me to smell scents interdimensionally. February 8th and 18th of 2023, I experienced that with the dumps that I went to. My back expands when I feel it, and I started getting memories of like flying through really tight structures through mainframes and like really fast and just like quick, going through these things. I was working with a woman at the time when I saw this, and I broke through like this big black box, and like tons of memories just like flooded my field of like things that occurred. Um, yeah. So my essence activates when I run through black grids. I would go down to my bird sanctuary down by my house, and I would activate higher dimensions, and I would bring my physical body up to the highest dimensions, and then my physicality would allow me to break through black grids and break through frequency barriers. Yeah, that was it would hurt. Sometimes it hurt a lot to break through. I would sometimes like hit the ground when I broke through some of these frequencies. But like my anger, my rage, and my determination of like freeing humanity just like kept me going. I'm like, I don't give a crap if this hurts. I'm just going to keep running through them. And then when I was working with a woman, from Mexico. When I connected with her, she saw myself as one. She saw my amber eyes, and that's in my book. That the whole interaction with Yasmin is all dialogue. It's a dialogue chapter of what she sees when I connect with her and everything, and I explain things. And it's really good. Lots of information in this book. About 100. It's about it's 100,000 words of just actual stories of like of 10 years of stuff that I wrote down.
What's your book gonna be titled?
Red Dragon Chronicles.
Oh, nice. I like
I
that.
looked, yeah, I looked up the gematria, and Chester Bennington was on the gematria, and I worked with him a lot. So I wanted that. I was really happy to see that gematria come up with him.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I did regression with Misha, I saw me and my grandfather, we were golden dragons. So I was like,
Okay.
I can relate.
Yeah, when you connected your energy to me when I was making this slide, my dragon wing started activating.
What? How did that
Yeah,
happen? You know,
it just did. I
I had,
felt your energies, and I sent Christy a message like, I feel Veronica right now. And then
oh,
it just hit my head started vibrating like we were melding. And then I started seeing all this information, how you go into all these higher up officers,
oh my
and
God,
you
I'm
like
getting
you go in there and you use you like invade their minds, and like you use your sexual energy, and they get all like loopy, and then you just like take their information. You just grab documents from they're there watching you, but you just grab their documents and then like
many,
look at them all like,
many flashbacks of me walking in there, and I'm usually in a suit. And I'm like, I'm just gonna take this, and then I start running. Then on one of them, either Susan is holding the door, or somebody that looks like my mother's holding the door, or, or I just go through walls, and then little tiny, tiny little windows and mirrors, and it's like, how can I do this? I just do it.
well, it's because men love the energies of a woman, and you use that against them, and then they get out, and then you like send them sonic frequencies that get them like all dazed, and they're all like, you like mess up their mind a little bit, and they don't know what you're doing.
That's
So
crazy that you say that, because the handlers that they've sent me, which Chad is helping me write a book called CIA, Love Bites, Head Games, and Handlers.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll title it that, right? Maybe. I get you. But many times they'll say, "Oh, I feel like I have to help you with something," and then they'll buy me clothes or they'll help me fix my car, and I'm like, I didn't ever send you that in my mind. I don't know how they do that. Maybe subconscious.
Well, we work together. We've been working together for a long time. So
See, like just
you're in the
dragons.
same organizations. You do a lot of intel work.
Yeah,
You get a
because
lot of intel.
yeah, because Peter the Insider from ACAO said I was labeled as a special soldier when I was born, and I was taken at 1.5 by
Okay.
Jay Essex saw me being taken at 1.5, and then Peter saw me at 3, and I have my flashbacks and my dreams of being taken physically at age 3. So go ahead. Thank you.
All right, then I start running into Baphomet seals and black snakes. First encountered one with my brother. He had one on his back. I opened it up by so I was watching a lot of Doom. I was playing a lot of Doom games. So I was using the Doom games to interact with the Baphomet seals. So I poked the eyes of the Baphomet seal, and then I twisted its tongue, and it opened up the portal from my brother's back, and I went through the portal, and I found that he was in some sort of volcanic cavern base, and his baby self was inside a little like a little incubator inside a cavern mainframe, and it was connecting them to us all. He had a black dragon, black panther, and it was like this big platform by like lava, and so I saw him in this little incubator. I take him out, and then all these alarms started going off, and like their security was pitiful because they never think anyone can ever get into their system. I just like sat there. I was like, they had these wimpiest security guards are just like blue energy out there. I just like you're pitiful. So I got him out, and then in 2022, I went on a mission with a woman that was the fairy that I did Helios Gamos with. We started working together in higher dimensions, and I saw myself go flying through space. It was a huge battle, and on the side of the planet was a Baphomet seal. I went through that Baphomet seal down to a throne room. And there was this black being, this black entity on the throne room, and I used my golden fist and I ripped right through him, and he just blew up in dust. I had recall of it being used in the SRA MK Ultra in Montauk, November 14th, 2023. And then command had me go down to the bottom of an ocean. I believe it was the Bermuda Triangle. And there was a huge facility in the form of a Baphomet seal. Um, they have like a graviton array emitter down there to sink ships, to steal gold, kill people, steal resources. Um, there was like nuclear codes there. Like if the Earth was going to raise frequency, there was going to be nuclear weapons that were going to be activated, because if they can't have this world, then no one can. So I deactivated those. Command was thrilled because there was these frequency barriers um around this base, and I had to break through them. And I heard Command in my ear, like freaking out. They were so happy. And then when I was looking through this area, I saw that there's women, children stashed away in different areas of the facility. And then there was an elevator that went down to a transit system. And then this transit system went all over the world, but it was starting to collapse. There was nuclear waste spilled all over, and the suit that I was in started like blasting at me. Can't go further. Can't go further. It was like red. It was like a big alarm on my suit. So I left that area. I went back to my body's awareness. Um, but so Baphomet seals is like their power source of like what they use. And then I started the black snakes. One was put into me after a dream of a failed raid in the cavern. You told me about this. I thought it was Mintaga, but I wasn't sure. You told me it was near the Palladians, right? Or
Yeah.
um
And the guy that I was talking about earlier is Douglas Dietrich. I finally remembered his name. So he did what you just talked about, the seals and all that. That
yes.
that shit is in the heart facilities. Okay. They have these plasmoid beings, God beings, like
Hmm.
guy here. I don't like to say his name because this is a very ugly entity. Yeah. I'm glad you took it out of, yes, out of your
Yeah, my brother was having a hard time with his darkness, and he was opening up all kinds of freaking portals in my like I was doing all my energy work trying to clear my body out, and I was getting attacked by his darkness and stuff, and I was just sick of it. So I just like forced him for me to help him, because I'm like, dude, like I can't be connecting to divine frequencies, and then your black energy comes and slams me because you're a portal, you know? So that failed cavern raid. It happened during the medieval era, because and when we were raiding it, the frequency was so heavy, the atmosphere was so thick, and the battle was so fierce that everyone's hearts was exploding. And I was making my way all the way down to the bottom, and I was just seeing like people littered all over the floor, just passing out. And the the cavern, um the uh the floors started breaking away, and I fell off the ladder, and someone threw me a golden rope to climb up, but I slipped off of it and I got captured. And they brought me to the Black Queen, and she put me up in the air, and she put a black snake right on my root, and it went right up to it. And I was, instead of waking up from the dream, I woke up back at our base that where we were sending our soldiers to this cavern. And I saw thousands and thousands of soldiers going here. And like before I woke up, I'm like, this is not going to work. I don't know why we're sending all these. They're just going to die. And then Arkeem Ra says everyone died. Everyone says everyone. And it was. This is when that all occurred. Was that cavern? It was like live, die, repeat. You know. But when I got back to our military base, it looked very medieval. It was like there was all these buildings lined up in a row, and then like military equipment in the middle and stuff, and then like everyone was like flying into like this portal to go to that that battle. And I woke up right after that. I'm like, I'm not doing anything anymore. I woke up, you know. So and then I found one of my brother during energetic cleansing. Um, he was in a Viking scenery. He lived inside of a cave. So I I was in his subconscious doing energy work with him because we're twins. It's really easy for us to connect. And I can see like the interdimensional areas that he's in. I go into his little cave. I open up a box and this black snake comes out of it. And I start chasing. I tell my brother, I'm like, dude, we gotta get this thing. And then he appears next to me in his subconscious, and we're just running after it. And I grab it, and then I send energy, like all different kinds of energy to break it down, and it ends up turning into this. It like imploded like a pond of water, and then this yellow orb went around in my hands and my palm, and it was just like black yellow. It was just circulating. So I put it into the earth because I didn't know what else to do with it. So I went outside and just put my hands on the earth and went into the earth. I'm like, I'll let the earth. Uh, so I did that for him. The guy, so I was cleaning him up. He actually thanked me for all that in the end because it allowed him to break free from that programming that he was in because they were trying to steal his power and everything. So the woman recognized the snake that was put into me in my heart, and she converted it. She helped me convert it. The girl from Mexico. She ended up being a black dragon. She was a mantis as well. Um, had a really hard time with doing the shadow work because she had a lot of black goo in her kidneys and stuff, and her kidneys started failing. So I was trying to expunge it all. So I was going into the deep abyss, to the clip hawk, the tree of death, where all her soul pieces were. And I was just like finding them all so she can heal her body up. And she didn't like it. She told me that I was taking her to hell all the time, but I was just like breaking all the stuff away from her, so she can actually heal and be healthy. Um, and then I found one in my body that was connected to Ramses II. I used my Ptah energies to clean him out. I activated his energies and I converted the snake that was in him. And then that actually activated. That gave me a lot of codes because he held a lot of the Egypt. Ramses II built a lot of temples for me to do because we were learning how to convert the black goo in Egypt. And the guy that I was working with, he brought me back to all the temples where we were doing this research. He brought me to this like research facility. There was like all these Egyptian people like walking in like limestone enclosures with like it looked like trees and stuff in the middle and like levels. And then like there was like little grids and stuff like where you'd sit, and there was like portals, and then there was like black goo places where you can jump into and convert the black goo. And once I had my diamond light and everything, and I converted the black goo with the girl from Mexico. That's a really intense. I actually I it was funny. I was sent a message to go tell Tom DeLonge to the stars group on Facebook what I was doing. So I sent them a long thing of what I was doing with the black
What
goo.
did you say?
Well, some people were interested. They're like, you need to elaborate what you're doing. So I
Wait,
wrote down the
you
whole
know, Tom,
story, you know.
Tom DeLonge and the other guy with the Hispanic name, they're still working for the CIA, even though they say, oh, the CIA used me, the TikTok thing, it's just a front for them.
Yeah. I use a lot of his music to do missions. Actually, this morning around 4 o'clock, I was listening to Angels and Airways, and that's when I saw the diamond light explode from the Earth and go throughout the whole solar system and
Well,
everything.
that's
So
cool.
yeah.
It is cool.
Yeah, that's Angels and Airways is always a big part of, like, my awakening. So like that's why I kind of like want to maybe do like animation with him and stuff. My story into like a big series or whatever. Because I don't know about big Hollywood right now. They're still infested with a bunch of shit. I don't want to
Yeah.
give
Well,
them
look,
my ideas and my stories.
look what happened to Tom Althouse. We've had 18 interviews, Chad and I, and it's like they took his things and they've infiltrated him. They off two of his kids, sadly, just a lot of things. He was in religion and talked about what really was going on with the Christian coalition. And then, yeah, so what they do is they steal the work, you know.
Yeah.
You also have to be careful with people that go to the conferences because they'll use our work and put it in as if it's theirs. That's why we have to get your book out. We got to get all of our books out. We got to get our stories out.
I know. We need someone to fund us or sponsor us or something. It's $1,000 for me to edit my book, and like they said like $10,000 to get it published. So I don't know. I might just edit it myself. I have Microsoft Word and they have the editing system. It's actually not too bad. They really find a lot of issues. So I might just because like I don't know, the grammar isn't as important as the story I'm telling.
Yeah.
As long as it's legible, you can read it, you get a good idea about it. Like that's all I really care about.
And then I think
Like
if you can go to the conference in Florida in June, I think it's June or July. Chad and I want to go too. So you can tell
yeah,
your
I
story.
would like to be a speaker,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
I told Brian Sang about you, and I'll send the video to him after we're done because I told him I want you to go with us to the conference because you have a
because
real
I've been making PowerPoints left and right, just like trying to make it look professional and stuff. And I spend I've been spending like 12 hours a day just writing and doing this work for the last 3 months. Like it's like my full-time job, and I love it, you know. So because it's like the absolute truth of like what what the hell has been going on with this place, because they invaded they got outside the void where creation or the creation grids are, and they invaded everything around it. They opened up portals
That's what
into
I
the
told you,
Sephiroth systems.
Steve.
Yeah,
I go, you guys are over here talking about Source. They infiltrated Source because if you
yeah,
you listen to the Ashiana Dean stuff, that where do you think they get their power stuff from? It's like
yeah. They
they
got it was a lot of betrayal from the dragon families that wanted power, and some people that went into the black goo, it became conscious, and they got the blueprints of architectural abilities. So the people that betrayed us, they were light and dark. They're like, I can steal this whole kingdom, you know? So they opened up portals from the tree of death into the chaos realm. And then they didn't know, some of them didn't even know what they were doing. Just like, boom. It was critical mass, and it just wrapped around everything. I had memories. Oh my God. Typhon came through a portal through my bowling alley collapsed. And my Native American friend, this guy was doing inverted photos, and there was red demons in the monitors and everything. And this Typhon demon blew through the picture, and all this black spindles converted my whole room into darkness. And I'm like, holy shit. So I got my tuning forks out. I just started working at it, and it dissipated. And then I got memories of what this thing was doing to us. It would rip chaos portals open into our military bases, and it would just suck people in. It was like this big freaking, oh, it was awful. I was like, I got this memory. I was just freaking the frig out. And it was awful what we had to deal with. Like, it would just be like these random attacks. Like, we would be at our base and these portals would open up and they would just take all our soldiers. And then they would come back all taken over and attack us. It was a mess. The thing is that we had to deal with in like in the real battle. Oh, so I start going into healing shifts after doing battles. Um, I sat in a chair. Psychic nurse came in this May 19th and May 27th. It's kind of like the same thing. I had a nurse and like all these parasites came out of me. I have in my book. I mean, maybe one of these days I'll just read the story, you know. But I don't have a dual monitor. I just have my laptop. So the Arcturians brought me to a room to reactivate me. There was a blue crystal in the middle, and it was awesome when they connected to me. I put my hands out and I saw their three fingers and like this like greenish energy emanated. And then they brought me to their ship, and then I saw they were like reactivating my energy bar. And January 6th, yeah, because 2022 was the big year to activate the grid, so they were like really prepping me for everything because I would go on missions and then I would go into psychosis after like 7 or 8 months, and then I would be good for a year, and then I would go back into psychosis again, and then so they would have to constantly like work on my body because of all the damage of the meds and stuff that did to me. So, but I would always get it back. So it didn't really impede anything too much.
I had
Uh,
the Indians help me in Metatron, but I stopped asking for their help because back in the day I would in 2021 I would ask for help, you know, take me to my sarcophagus, or because back then I'm like, oh well, a lot of people were saying if you ask for help they'll help you, but now it's like I don't, like I have to do everything in inner healing in my heart because you never know what they can put in there. You know,
yeah.
and
Well,
memory.
we're a lot of us are protected now because we have a bunch of beings that came back from the void and beyond the void. I'm explaining it right now. Um, so uh, I believe it's Department of Defense Black Project. I believe Trump was disclosed about stuff and he wanted to make his own space force that was secret, and he knew that I was around. So we hooked up with Robert McFarland. So he was a Navy officer. He went into the Department of Defense in 2020. So I believe this is when he was introduced. You know, they're never going to admit it yet or anything, but a channeled message came in with him with his name on it. And I asked Ivan too, and he said, yeah, he was part of a lot of the work that I've been doing for this past year as well. So I believe that they latched him on to the projects in 2022 when he went to the Department of Defense. And I think the Department of Defense is a way of masking space operations. No, instead of saying like what branch of military you're in, oh, you just say you work for the Department of Defense, you know. Continue support for Steve and his mission to bring order. The members of what I got from my channel message, there are individuals that broke away from Nazi Germany after it became corrupted. American World War II commanders and officers that had been rescued from Mars. The Arcturian Continuum. They said that they were beyond the void and everywhere else. The Orion Black Order, the Syrians, the Palladians, and Uther Pendragon and the Knights of the Round Table. That's what came in when this message came in.
Also, you should see if the Black Sun came in too, but the good Black Sun, because I do have good memories of being in the.
Yes, I was actually watching Dragon Ball Z, and Whis has a black sun on his staff.
You know, that's funny because I watched Dragon Ball Z with my son like maybe 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and I had a flashback of being on that highway. Remember when he dies? And
Snake
he's
Way.
when the guy dies and he's looking for his son. And so his son is back home with his mom now, but then Dragon Ball, he dies supposedly, and he goes to this long freeway. Well, here I am in the flashback that I'm in with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
We're on this freeway, and you're supposed to go really fast because it's like a maybe a 56 degrees or whatever, and it's like you have to just you just have to go like right away so you can still be on that freeway to leave the matrix, to leave the main matrix that's above the dome. And
Yeah.
dude, we almost made it. Chad, I told you about that. And all of a sudden we're like falling. And I tell my kids, oh man, we're gonna have to do this again. I'm sorry, I failed. And they're like, it's okay, mom. We got eternity. We could do it again.
Yeah, we had to reconnect a lot of constellations because they weren't together anymore. A lot of constellations were all broken apart.
That makes sense now. Thank you for telling me.
I had, well, one of the star systems that were still left was the Spring Triangle, Arcturus, Spica, and Regulus.
I
Those
don't
were
even
like those
know
were
this.
our safe stars. And we did a lot of our base of operations from there. Spica, I was like the lead man in Spica because I
Okay.
went into the core. I went into the core and I blasted the star energy down to this earth. And then and then that opened up a portal from the earth to get up to Virgo. And then we went to Regulus. And then from Regulus, we went to the Orion sector to clean that place out. The Lion, yeah, that was it was, and I went to Vega too,
I've been to
and
Vegas.
yeah, so that's like it's very high tech. Oh, come on,
That's where the blue oceans and the blue like
yeah,
cities are, right?
yeah. I don't know. I was inside like the core facility, and there was like this blue core that I was like jumping on to get it back in there to like light up Vega. It was like it was crazy. I didn't write it down, but I remember doing it. Like
It
just
looks
doing all this
okay,
work.
if you're like in Vegas, for example, in your mind, go to Vegas, right? And it's like instead of the buildings, it's all lit up, and then everything is blue with stars.
Okay.
Like,
I've never been to Vegas.
yeah. Okay. Well, you could see the pictures.
Yeah. So, and also before this channel message came in, this was I forgot what date this was like the 26th, maybe the 28th. It was last Friday that this message came in. But in July 11th or 12th, I went to a crystal shop and this lady gave me a ruby, an Uther Pendragon, Excalibur, King Arthur, and the Knights of the Round Table slammed into my aura. And I'm very close to Uther Pendragon. So like that all came to me too. So they were like really showing me a lot of like they were like preparing, you know. And it's funny, the Syrians would come in on occasion. And I always told myself that they were like the fiercest warriors of the Orion sector, and it happened to be the case. Like, and oh yeah, also I forgot to add the Black Buddha crew is involved with this as well. Snoop Dogg and Tupac and stuff like that. They're like connected with the Black Buddha. So that's why Snoop Dogg was running the Olympic torch around, and that's why he was wearing a blue cap because it represents Ptah.
Now,
So
did you see that video where Snoop Dogg talks about with this lady? He's like, this lady's asking him, "Oh, you're participating, promoting 3 or 4 wines here," and he's like, "Nah, like I don't even drink that shit. You know that shit makes you do things I don't even drink." And I'm like, "That's
it's
why we're not
funny.
supposed to drink, guys."
Yeah.
They make you do things. And he's like, he said something like, I'm paraphrasing, like pretty much he's saying he's not a yes man. He's like, I'm not gonna let them tell me what to do. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell what to do.
Yeah. I like Snoop Dogg. I always did.
Yeah. And then also about McFarlane, I wonder if that's the one that was in my astro with Chad and I. Chad and I were time traveling. He had his brown case. I had my black CIA case, what they call.
Mhm.
And I was portaling through a swimming pool. And when I came out, there was a bunch of officers, all males, just swimming. And then this older man, white hair, white mustache, black glasses, navy blue. He had a bunch of like, medals on him, said, "Hey, Veronica, we'll be with you." And I told you about this, when the spider marries the scorpion. And that was the end of that. I'm like,
Hmm.
what? Okay. And then I woke up. I'm like, dang it, why couldn't he tell me more? So now I have to break it down. I have to like break the code of what he's trying to tell me. And I know it's two very powerful sources, entities that are gonna work with us, and we're gonna get our truth. We're already getting our truth out, but
Yeah, it's
they're gonna
already pretty much um these guys they want to cease and desist from the enemies. And the woman that's running the GSIC in Ireland or Glastonbury, she said the same thing that I did. Incompetence, and like so like she got the same message that I did as well about like humanity just woke up, everything was shown. Because the people that are part of this organization, they're like the strongest warriors in the whole in all the universes that there are in creation. They all came back here to just like get the fuck out, you know? So there's gonna be huge changes. And I was watching the Department of Defense videos. They went to Japan, which is a big ally of ours as well, because I was in Japan. I was working with a woman, Kyo, who her name is the flag of Japan. And when I was connecting with her, she had this huge Japanese like um housing and stuff, and we were like laying next to each other, and the water was like outside, and we were just talking, connecting. And I ended up energizing all the monasteries under their systems. And after I did that, the engineers of Japan, they build these huge mech warriors in the higher dimensions. So we were sharing our codes. I was giving him the diamond light and all the diamond energy so he can put it into his systems, and we were sharing technology. And it was awesome. Like it's like this big blueprint was laid out on a table, and I was just giving him information, and we were like, I love Japan. I always did. Like it was one of my favorite
I
countries
I
I
love
went to
mm-hmm. Jap-
in like my past lives and stuff. I had a lot of martial arts training there. I remember being past lives there training with people all the time, and like I had the dragon punch, and we would just train. We would sit on top of the dojos and look up in the stars and talk about like our and it was so much I missed, and I want it back.
I do have a memory of being in the dojos, but also they had me as a geisha in one of their places. It's like a mansion, but but it was in Japan. Um, it's just weird. I just remembered that. I write
Yeah,
everything down. It's
no memories are coming up with you right now, but
it's
I'm sure they'll start coming up soon.
Now, the maroon thing, I want to go back to that because I told Chad's gonna try and draw these guys that I saw, because we're gonna have a show with Victoria Plank again, talking about the three beings in my heart. So when the guys, so I was just flying in my body, just came down these weird freeways. I've talked about it many times. There was this guy that there's three beings that came down in a beam of light.
Mhm.
And this guy had red beard, red hair, and a cap. He was in denim, okay. And the lady,
Mhm.
she's all gothic, half of her sleeve is off, and one of them is on, and it's all leather, black leather, pants, gothic makeup. And then there was a little boy, and he was white complected, military haircut, all in denim. And there's something about denim where I had another vision where they told now the Chinese people told me that denim was used back in the day so that people wouldn't get shocked, electrically shocked. They said it was
Okay, yeah, I can
very,
see that.
yeah. So when the kid gives me this bill, he gives me this bill, right? And it has a 5 on the top right corner, 5 on the bottom right corner, 5
Mhm.
on the left bottom, 5 on the left top, and it's a circle, and it's maroon circle, and on the right it has a star. And I'm like, a long time ago I told that Navy guy that ended up, uh, anyway, I had to bring down one of his videos because he ended up being compromised. We'll just say that. He had told me
Mm.
that that was Antares. So I'm like, I wonder what that message is for me. And then after that, I went down into the dumps, and there was these people inside plexiglass, like they had their hands on there, and I woke up. I did give that person, I showed, there was a cashier, I don't know, it was just a weird thing. And I showed him the bill, and then I woke up. So I don't know. It's just
Mm.
interesting.
Maybe it was maybe you bugged it or something.
Hmm. I'm just wondering where that planet is. I mean, is it the red Jupiter, eye, or is it Antares, or is it what you were saying right now? This because I do have connections with the Syrians also. But anyway, your turn.
All right, so I'll talk about my Nazi affiliation. Maria Saren, Spencer Howell told me to look at her profile, and right when I did, my pineal gland started oscillating, and her energies connected me to Maria Orschik. I saw myself on a rowboat, like a boat, going into a German castle. I went into the castle, and Maria Orschik was waiting for me. There were Nazi flags on the side in the fireplace behind her, and I went right up to her, and she apologized to me about everything that occurred. And then we engaged in a tantric practice, like merging our bodies. And I forgave her. If you're willing to do the right thing again, I'm always willing to give you a second chance. So so made amends with her. That was a confirmation to me that I have history with her, and that we broke away from the Nazis after everything went crazy. Oh, we were so mad. Like, ooh, we're like we're trying to do this right, and then this, oh. And I got memories of chasing her as everything began to collapse. So we chased her out when she left Germany. We chased her, you know. Um, we broke away after learning of the evil doings perpetrated. I have connections with Warner von Braun. He came to me. I bowled a 300 on February 6th of 2023, and I got a towel from the 300, and it was red and black, and it was giving off a Third Reich energy.
That's
And
from
when I grabbed onto it, I saw Warner von Braun in an airship, like his little balloon airship thingy. And then I went on a mission that night to go find one of the emerald cities that belonged to Agartha with the Transformers. We went to go get it. That happened that night, and I felt that with him. So, and then I had a recall of telling Patton of the secret space programs when he finally got into Germany. I started speaking German, and then the memory just like flew out of me. And the weirdest thing was, I put on a Patton documentary before that, and then I went in my room, just like energy just blew out. I started speaking German, and then I got this memory. Like I was so frantic, and he's like, "Sit down." He put his chair, he put his chair like this, and he like sat. Well, you can't see it, my, but and then he's like, "Tell me your story." um. So yeah, and then my great grandfather, he went MIA during the World War II, And I can't confirm this. My great grandmother, whatever, never said anything about him, but they were coming to kill her if she didn't leave Croatia. So because I'm Croatian Hungarian as well. So and German, Polish, and you know, a lot of so yeah, I always thought he was too. And Ivan says that I don't know if he was talking about my great grandfather, this grand grandfather, but he said that there was time travel energies. And he was in the deep underground in Norway. He told me that my last channel. So I don't know if he was reading. I don't know which grandpa he was reading. But they're all in the military, so you never know. So and then I received the channel message confirming my involvement on July 26th. That was the last slide, the Syrians and the Palladians and the Uther Pendragon. So now we go into the Black SSP memories. Met Chrissy at Montauk. She had a teddy bear. I had a rabbit. You know what's so bizarre about the rabbit? I lost it from my house. It disappeared, and I was freaking the hell out. I even have a message from my mom on my phone. Like, you freaked out, so you couldn't find your rabbit anymore. So I lost it at Montauk. Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, you must have been the one. I've been wondering who the heck this boy is. So I was in okay, so it was a Saturn memory, Saturn
Hmm.
ring, okay, and we had just converted a castle into a healing school, all right, where all the
Hmm.
children that were abducted, some of the children that were abducted, that we had just rescued them. We helped them physically, healing them back, and then we had different classes, and we it was a bunch of us up there. It was James Rink, Susan. I don't know who else was there. Two other people. Oh yeah, Amaria and myself. And we were like teachers. And to the right, because it was like this portal. It's not like a portal, but there's stairs that go up this way. And
Yeah.
so up there and to the right of it, and there's white. Okay, so to the right of it, there was a bunch of kids that were going to go into a performance. And there was only one little boy who had on a brown rabbit suit, like rabbit ears, and he had just a rabbit thing. And then on the other side, there was a bunch of kids too that they were going to do like tap dancing and ballet and stuff.
Hmm.
But they were already cleared medically to do that. So I wonder if that was you, because I've been for years, since like 2019, I've been wondering, or 2018, I wrote it down. I've been wondering who that was.
Yeah, if
So
the memory comes up, usually I don't believe in memory, or like I think until I like the trauma comes out and I cough out energy, then it's just like my pineal gland surges and then I get the memory. So
yeah,
um I'm getting feelings like I think you're onto something there.
yeah, and I
Because
do.
I was on Saturn. I remember a lot of people on Saturn. We were doing a lot of research like off planet on bases, and I remember the mess halls stuff. And that's like one of the times that like, we had a lot of fun because they weren't like on our asses. We were able to goof off and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
They now this teddy bear in Montauk, they gave me a reptilian. It's like one of those shape-shifting things that have like the horny toads, I guess they're called, or something like that, in the crib. And so was this in the crib for you as well?
I think we took animals from our home, and we took it with us to Montauk just to like
And some of us got
we
wool.
we we each had our own like animal, I think. I just remember Christy having a teddy bear. I had my rabbit.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
It was like to make us feel safe a little bit.
Right.
I remember Joseph Powell being sadistic. He was opening up Baphomet portals on people. He was working with Preston Nicholson. He was his lapdog. And I'm not like bad mouthing him. I'm just saying, this is what I remember occurring after I released trauma. And we're just here to heal from all this shit. Some of us were just trying to get by in this terrible situation that we were in. Chester Bennington involved as well. We were planning our revolution that came in on February 18th, 2023. So the Joseph Powell stuff. So this all came in November. So how this memory came in was James Rink was talking about Montauk, and then Camp Hero flashed in my mind, and then my heart started palpitating really hard, and then I started seeing all these memories, and then I coughed out all the trauma. That's what my body does is I'll cough out the black energy of the situation. That's how my body transmutes it. I cough it out. Um, I remember us escaping from Montauk. Christy blasted Preston in the face with a fire extinguisher. That also came up on the 14th. Black magic rituals with children being possessed by demons. I saw James Rank and a bunch of other people around the circle and in the ritual ring. And then these demons with all these portals open up, and these demons would just interject in people, and they just start shaking and like, going nuts. And I would be hiding around the corner because I didn't want any part of it. And I don't know if I ever got any of that or whatever, but I remember hiding away from it because I didn't want that in me. But I remember doing the sex stuff with people, like in the rooms and stuff. So but I was always trying to do tantra. Like
Yeah,
when people were having sex, I wouldn't rape them. I would like play with the energy. So
yeah, they did a lot.
um black men. So and being in cages, they would take people. So there was multiple cages. They had cages where people were housed like for sleeping, and then they had cages where people were tortured. And that was more in the front of the facility where the offices were and the control rooms were. And so they would take people randomly, like it was like stacked on top of each. There was like maybe it was like four levels. They would put people in the cages, and they would take people randomly from the cages, and we didn't know who it was because that was like a fear factor for them, like always in constant fear, not knowing if you're going to be the one next. And then they would pull our finger, they would rip our fingernails out, and they would zap us as well. Yeah, that was a trauma release. People would shout, yell, take me instead. No, not her." It was awful. And I was talking to Rocco too, and I started remembering him. He would always try to protect us. He was always yelling at the controllers. He was always trying to get the brunt of the torture because he wanted to like protect us. And he was always yelling. He was funny. We would laugh at the things he'd say to them. And then like when they would take him out of the room, he'd be like, "Peace." They would just like grab him and shit. Uh yeah, yeah, Rocco started talking to me the other day and I started remembering things from him. He that video with Rob, his heart opened up a bit, and I was able to read our involvement and stuff together. And him and Arky and Rob were pretty tight. I remember that. So and I remember Arky, he would blow out walls, and the fucking lights above head would like just like blow out stuff. And the only one that could like really calm him down was Jessica, encrypted huntress. He would always go to her for advice and everything. And it's funny, he's doing it now. He's always talking to her and stuff. So she was a guy for him. And I remember him crying sometimes because he was mad. Like they forced me to do it. I hate it. And he put his hand on my shoulder, and I was like, I felt that my heart beating when that memory came up, and I knew in the back of my mind that we were going to break all this back, and like I'm remembering, when this is fucking over with, and we're in this timeline, and we're just going to just like, that's what we're doing now. You know, I don't care what people think of what I say anymore because the information keeps coming in every time I talk about stuff.
Yeah,
And my commanders are so proud of like me just piercing through everything. So, because that's what we are. We're the warrior, you know. We're the ones that went into the deepest shit and figured out what the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I got the positive SSP stuff. You know, when we flipped, Christy and I worked together, work hard to recover artifacts and crystals, close portals, working on ships together, and we continued our intimacy. Um, there's a few videos when I was doing with her that these memories came up. And when I was working with her to get James Rank out of the DUMS and stuff and going into DUMS and deprogramming stuff like that. Christy, James, and I are part of the Tetragrammaton, which is a power source of our battle suits. I actually, when I was writing this yesterday, I saw that we have a little diagram in the corner of our visors that monitor our energy field outputs of this field energy. And I got this in February 15th, 2023. I got this after I found him in the cavern in the Orion sector because his heart blew up. And I, how this occurred was, I wrote in my book, but I started talking about Alpha Squad. I didn't even know anything about it. And then Christy told me that James wrote a book about it. And then that he showed me a picture of the book and my Kundalini started surging. And then I connected to where he died in Orion. He's limp, completely limp. And I went up to him and then I like read his signatures and everything. So that occurred. Misa Johnson helps train children. We do as well. That came up November 18th in 2022 when I was working with Miss Bond. I also saw that she was a commander too. Early on in 2019, I saw that she was like in the commander of a ship, and she was telling us things to blow up, like enemy vessels and stuff. We had these suits. This girl that I was working with at the time, her name was Aurora Isabella. I saw that as well. Um, as of current right now, I my crown opened up after doing a Kundalini session with my mentor, and then I started seeing me and James. We worked together to break up Mars facilities in this organization that I've been a part of for a little bit now. He's got a yellow saber tooth emblem on the front of his chest, and it's encircled with blue. And I have a dragon that lions on the side of mine. And we go to Mars and break up facilities. Um, we rescue children from negative facilities and bring them to get healed. That memory, actually, James Rank regressed me, and my heart opened up into a pink energy, and I was starting to bring in the energy was coming through my crown right out of my mouth. What we were doing, and I saw this. There's like it's an unknown facility. We don't want anyone knowing this and there's frequency fields in different rooms of different colors depending on what the child needs, and then we put them in there and it dislodges all the programming. And there's a lot of different alien races in there, and they were very happy. I actually started crying after the memory came up because I was like really happy to see that we are doing this for them. And this came in April 26th of 2023. So James does have, because me and him have history. I think this is why the regression works so well. And I had one dumped from Misha Johnson, and James' session was better than Misha Johnson's. Nothing against her, but I was able to open up into my higher self. And it's funny because James Rank was like, he was thrown off by what I was doing because I was channeling my higher self and I wasn't under at all. I was just connected.
That's
And
the
he
things
got,
with you. As I noticed is like I do hypnosis as well,
okay.
and I facilitate so that you guys go under really, really easy. Like you're already under. You're almost like somnambulistic, where you're just You know, you just go under super easy. And so it's hard because as a facilitator, I'd want to get you really deep, but it's difficult for you guys to allow that because for one, you're giving us control while you're under. And
Yeah.
And for two, it takes a while for us to get that control, and you're already under before we start, pretty much, you know, which is interesting. And it could also deal with like, you know, sometimes I had like an easier, I had male sessions before, and I didn't get as much out of them, but then I had a female and I got a lot more out of her because it makes a difference if the direction coming at you is paternal or maternal, you know, and the way the style of it is. So you definitely, but I think because of your connection to James Rink, that's probably is why.
Yeah, we have a strong connection, and I always try to like help him, you know, see the you know, the side that we're fighting, and he doesn't want to, you know, listen all the time with me. And I've always been like, I got him out of a freaking dump. He was uh, the ACIO. I do not like them at all. I don't like Peter the Insider. He better come in and start apologizing to everyone if because that's who I saw at the facility, Peter the Insider. And me and Chester, he was a cyborg. It wasn't even the real dude.
Okay.
Oh. I dazed them. Me and Chester went it. So after we invaded, I don't know if that's in the slide here. Oh yeah, in the dumps. Yeah, okay. I'll talk about it after I get to that. Shit. Um, positive S. Let's continue this positive SSP. So my great grandfather is one of my officers that came in on August 29th. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Am I
can.
good? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, August 29th, 2022. My great grandmother came out of my twin brother's ear. Big blue orb came out. She said that she loved me very much. She said that my great grandfather has been many battles. He said that I came to rescue him, and I didn't get everyone else out yet, but I came back to get everyone. He told me that in this when my great grandmother came into me, and I was bawling because I didn't know it was him that was helping me the whole time, and I it just gave me so much love for him, you know, because he was right there in the battlefield with me in heaven, fighting these archons.
And this is the
And
grandfather that was in World War II, correct?
yeah, he was
Because I
in the
also had a
Pacific Fleet.
grandfather. Yeah, I also had a grandfather in World War II, and I found out that he was helping me throughout my life too. I didn't never felt the connection to him until later on. I was a little shocked as well, so that resonates. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a captain. So
Mm.
a lot of the Pacific Fleet people are in space. Pacific Air Force people, a lot of them are in space because space is an ocean. So what we do is we use Bill Halsey's hit hard, hit fast, hit often. We use his motto, and we do island hop. And what we do is we open up void spaces that are contaminated. We create operations. We create conscious fields. We use Arcturian Tesla technology. We create these conscious fields, and then we put bases on these fields, and then we protect them. And when we clear out certain sectors, we go further and further. And it's island hopping. It's the same, and it works so good. So
When you say Arcturian Tesla technology, you're saying that because he channeled that information through the Arcturians, or he was
well, I've been working with the Arcturians since my awakening. Then that channel message came to me, and it just confirmed everything that I was involved with them. You know, I would always get these codes. I would always find creators and get their energy signatures, and then I would go up to their ships and put my codes into their because they were like remapping the DNA of the human genome and making sure it's divine and that it's not too harsh for people to integrate, you know. So I would put my codes, it was like this green beam, and I would just like put my codes and my energy in there, and it would you know, it would collect into it. And this woman from Japan that I was working with, she was out there too. She was like on the bay door by the ship, and she was like on the side before I got up there. And the Octarians were surprised that I was there. Like, oh, welcome, Steve. Like, we're so happy you're here. And they're like, yeah, I got codes. 'Cause I go all over the place. I collect like tons of DNA from different species. I merge with people's energies. Like our energy bodies will merge together, and that will share my DNA with them. So if they have broken DNA, my energy will reformat whatever is missing in their DNA and reactivate the missing pieces. And then since we share DNA, I will have a piece of theirs. And then I use it to help balance out equations of people that are here on Earth with like others, well, other star people that are trying to work with energies, like because there's missing pieces for a lot of people. That's why a lot of mental illness is like here on Earth is because people are missing certain energies for their genetics to activate and it's causing disruptions and everything's all asymmetrical and we need to be back in symmetry for everything to work correctly. So it's a lot of work. I'm like a geneticist in the higher dimensions. Kind of close to what Enki does. You know, I follow in his shoes. So um so whatever yeah, the Diamond Soul we have we help rebuild and protect the creation grids. A lot of us are Brahmins too, so we'll break through these huge barriers that are preventing us from revitalizing universal grids. And then we'll have to interject our diamond light into like electromagnetic reactors to I should have put that photo on here. It's a big they call it the Brahma or the big universe. We broke through this huge barrier and then I saw myself sitting on the reactor and I shot my diamond light from the bedrock, the bottom of the universe, and I shot my energy straight up. And it's funny because Arkeem Ra, the next day, Arkeem's like, "Oh, the light forces are all here." So, oh yeah, you know, we're all working together. So it's awesome. But I was kept covert on all these programs because if I fell into the wrong hand and I was doing this, that would have been bad. But it's pretty much the cure. After I got that channel message from the Arcturium Continuum, I'm pretty much safe at this point. No one can touch me, like fuck with me. I mean, they can do their black magic spells and block my chakras and stuff, but like it's not going to stop anything anymore. The damage is done, you know.
And you just
So,
wake up every day. You got to protect yourself from that daily, don't you? There's
um,
black magic stuff. I'm thinking.
yeah, I usually I usually sit with the Earth. Earth likes to do tantric energy with me. We're really close. So I'll sit on the grass and my whole body will start vibrating. Sometimes I'll shapeshift into my dragon and I'll just like talk to her because we love each other very much. I'm very, I'm one of, I just love protecting her. She's always been so good to me, you know, even like all her aspects, so I understand it very well. So yeah, we break Archon mainframe still. That's what I've been doing. Running at the creek, shape shifting into my essence. Me and Shiva just breaking through. I've been in the Himalayas. Some place called Sector Z. The only thing I came up across with Sector Z was in Star Fox, the Lilac system. So I was thinking maybe that's just like a code for the Lyran system. Because we were breaking through these black grids and there was like all these stars that these black grids were around, so we were igniting these cores of these stars. And then when the cores ignited, it blew away all these black grids and we did like 7 or 8 different stars. And they gave me the helm to the ship that I was at. I was working with this woman, Miss Bond, and that's how I got to Andromeda. Then she brought me back to, I'm not sure if it's Palladian because Ivan told me that there's like a silver Palladian ship that I'm connected to. But when I got to the ship, I think it might be the Athena. But I can't confirm it. But I know I was there because my whole head was vibrating. I saw everything. But they had me upgrade the systems um defense grid, the shield battery. I upgraded to the diamond array. So I gave them those. And then they took me to the medical and they had my head scanned and everything. They said I had a lot of brain damage from all the battles I've been in. But then I went to my quarters after all that, and I sat on my bed, and I just put my hand in it. I'm like, oh my God, what a trip. But soon after that, they tested my ability. They connected my energies into the hall first, and then we were going through mountains and stuff, doing stuff like trudging through dark dimensions through the mountains and whatnot. And then they saw that I was like really capable, so they gave me the helm of the whole ship, and then that's when we started going into space to Lyra, or I don't know, Sector Z. That's all that came up. Um, but it was awesome because I felt the crew. We were all connected through our intuition and our minds. Like we were all like we were like one unit. Everyone we were like relaying our intuition, and our third eyes were just like going on its own together. We just went through, and they were working really hard. It was exhilarating. I like the danger. It makes me feel alive sometimes. So, and it's just fun, like breaking through stuff. It's just like you feel like a badass because like you run in this like heavy frequency, and then you fall to the ground, but you like just get back up. You're tough as nails, and it like brings a lot of people, because they see how hard you try to like free a lot of star systems and stuff, and people latch on it. Like it gets people going. So haven't done that stuff since 2023 though. So, but I did go to the psych ward again in March because I ended up going like out of this universe a few times, and I blacked out a few times, like lost touch with reality. It wasn't good. But I mean, I didn't
It,
care at this moment. I was
it,
just like, I just want to just find my lost family,
it
going through the
it's
Black
pretty
Ooze shit.
cool. I'm
There was
pretty,
like lost cities and different sections after the Black Ooze, like rooms and stuff. And then, but I'll talk about that later, maybe another time. Let's get through this slideshow. Um, so the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases. Uh, I was at the creek, sitting on a rock. I put on Ender's Game. It triggered me to go on a mission, dismantling the dump with Metatron. That was awesome. So Metatron took me by the hand, we connected, and then we were digging through this portal, and we ended up on the side of the wall of a dump. We blast through the wall, and then we it's like it was like a middle area of the dome. We had to go deeper, so we dug deeper further down into like the real main area, and there was a bunch of grays down there and people running around after we came in. And
was
I just
that,
started blasting them with my fire because I was in my dragon energy, and they were all running like crazy. It was hilarious.
was that at the Grand Canyon?
I don't know where it was.
I remote viewed,
Metatron took me with him. He knew where we were going, so I was just there with him.
because I remote viewed him and his under Grand Canyon.
Yeah,
He's,
and then after that invasion of that dome, we went. I went through a portal and I went into some like a space. It was like Space Force or something. It was connected to Trump, but there was an African American at the front desk, and I popped my head through a portal. I'm like, hello, and then he pointed at a different portal, and I had to go another portal to get to Trump, and Melinda Linda Trump was there, so was Barron, and so was Donald Trump, and I got in there. I just see Donald Trump trying to like with a sword trying to cut up demons around him. I'm just like shaking my head, but I got rid of it all. I started coughing out all this energy that I usually do when I clean out chaos rooms. and he was safe after that. So that all occurred on January 11th, 2023. I was a little reluctant with helping him at that point because of what everything that occurred. So, but I mean, whatever. I do what I have to. Invaded, and then I so on February 17th, 2023, I invaded the dome where James Rank was held, cleaned it out. Um, Christy was helping me with that. She showed me an ACIO video. It felt like it was sucking energy from me. And the day before this, we invaded some throne room. I was watching Doom, a Doom Eternal Endgame, and I felt the Tetragrammaton activate between us three. I saw James. So the display, it was me and Christie's energies were strong, but his arm of the Tetragrammaton was very weak. But he was trying his hardest to connect with us to get us through this cavern or whatever that I was in. And right when we got to the end, like he kept fading, it kept fading worse, and then right when we got to like the very end, he just dissipated. And I saw him raise his like where he was like in prison. I saw him raise his hand and he just like dropped, and then the energy dissipated from the arm and the tetragrammaton energy dissipated. But we got through enough of it to get to the throne room, and we did what we had to do. We cleared that out. Um, and then February, so yeah, then the 17th, I got him out. Um, went through an ACIO portal, and he was there. Um, Peter the Insider was there taking advantage of James. I was in my Doom suit, the Praetor suit. I was just slamming everything, like breaking all the windows and stuff that was in the facility. There were rooms all over the place, like scientific rooms. There was like this cart full of equipment where they torture him. He had a fucking VR mask all over him, and I was just so mad. And I'm like, release him. I was chasing Peter everywhere. I'm like, come back here. Uh, but I was so ass up. So the alarm started going off. All the scientists were running around and stuff because they didn't expect someone just to freaking teleport right where he was. But I have a really close connection to James, so it was easy for me. All I need is a little ounce of his energy, and I can locate him. And so I shapeshift into a wolf and I lay on his chest, just like absorbing all like damage that was done. I start crying. My body started hurting. I like just wanted him to wake up and stuff, so I sat there with him. And then the X Class 2.2 flare shot off maybe like 5 minutes before this, or it happened like right around the same time. And then I saw the Palladians come down and like teleport them or whatever, blast them out into their ship, and then they took him home to the Palladians. And I was working with James a little bit after that, and I read that he's got blue energy, and that's like a Palladian marker. So so I was really happy about that because we thought he was gonna die. He had really black circles around his eyes, and Christy showed it to me, and we were like, "Yo, we gotta get him out of wherever he is." And I ended up doing it. I made a video. There's a video on YouTube. Me, I was just like yelling and screaming and shit. I I just let it all out. I'm raw sometimes, my emotions and stuff. Um, but then we end up cleaning the base. Um, I went in there, they spray loose in all their facilities, and it affects me the same way as it does these guys because they're all like, you know, dragon reptilians. But for me, I get really aggressive. My endurance goes way up through the roof. I go into like a really intense berserker mode. My eyes start pulsing and my nose just feels it too. And I don't like it. It's a heavy, it's a hard vibration. It feels like when you encounter this, eats away at your electrons in your body because it excites it in a very heavy way. But I can see why people would abuse this because it's like cracked for like reptilians. Um, yeah, so we deactivate the core the next day. Um, there's like this poop grid that they have. Chrissy has a picture of it. I have it on my computer. I didn't put it on. I didn't put a picture on here, but I can always redo everything. So, but my druid mentor, we didn't know how to deactivate it. So I was just like looking at it. Chrissy's drawing pictures of it, and and then my druid mentor just like comes out of my energy field right next to me in this dung. He jumps right into it. He dismantles it. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I was a little surprised, I wasn't, I figured he would be able to do something like that because he always likes the darkness. So he just eats it all up. But we ended up flushing it with a green liquid, and then we put a crystal near it, and that converted it and everything. And then I went to the mainframes of this computer system, and I had like this disk and stuff. I put all these codes in there, and we started playing Linkin Park through the whole system, and then it converted it to like Diamond Light and everything. And I was I was hoping it would convert whoever's connected to that facility, all their implants and stuff, and they can get all those implants released without, because a lot of times if you try removing implants from people, they have like a self-defensive mechanism, and then the person will start attacking you. And I seen this from Spencer Howell. I did that with him after the tetragrammaton activated within my field. After I got the Yahweh sector, I went to him because he has information on all the graves and where they're keeping people. So I went to him, and I was sending him energy, and then he started attacking me. So I slammed him down with my energy, and then he came out of his body, and he showed me all these places like where these graves are holding people. They have them in these vats and like liquid filled containers and wires all over the ceiling, and it's all smoky and hazy inside, and
They
flashing lights and stuff.
they have those too, and at the Dulce base, they make these beings, and they use the cow's blood and all that stuff to make these with the black goo as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Greys and the Reptilians are big users of the black goo.
Yeah.
They can't get enough of it. So then I invaded Dome on Saturn, counter nuke, because this is so after we got Peter out, me and Chester interrogated him. I threw my diamond light at him. He started dizzying around. I started shooting. I saw fairies shooting arrows at him. I saw stars above his head. He was like drunk because of the energy I was shooting at him. And me and Chester were going at him real hardcore. We were shapeshifting into animals, just like shouting at him. We didn't hit him or anything, but at the very end, I just punched him in the face, and he hit the window. 'Cause I was just so mad at him. Um, so we learned that like Saturn, something was going on in Saturn, and this other guy I was working with, his name was Ryan. He was like a Jedi, and he asked me to help him with Saturn too. So like, I don't know, everyone was like figuring out about Saturn. We were invading Saturn, trying to return it, trying to get it back. And before I got there, I actually went to Mars and then blew out a facility. And then when Ryan told me that he was there, I teleported to his location. And right when I got there, it was like this enormous battle. And I started coughing and wheezing. And he's like, "Oh, the air's poison." Ryan told me, and I'm like, "Okay, I can deal with this. I can just keep coughing. I don't care." So I do that. I keep coughing, and I call in a lot of reinforcements. My friend Greg, he passed away a few ago. I felt his turn just come in a few days ago. So he was a big Battlestar Galactica. So he brought all the Battlestar Galactica people with him. And there was a shield battery over the entrance to the dumps on base. So we had to break those up. And then when they broke up the shield barrier, I saw myself teleport into the dump of Saturn, and I just went to town. I put on Doom Back to Saturn X, and I connected my energies channeling that video game into Saturn. And it was the weirdest thing because every time the guy on the screen ran into like really deep interferences, my body would shudder. I felt my life force drained. It felt like someone was punching me in my stomach. I was outside at the creek connected to the earth with my root because my Kundalini was super, super active in 2022 and 2023. So I was just like really zoning into the conscious fields. And this has always been a thing for me. I have the ability to connect to TVs and channel music, energy, video, Top Gun. Top Gun was always like a program I like to use to like channel energy to do things. Um, and it's funny because well, I'll backtrack. In 2019, when I had my awakening, I felt like I was like showing them that I could connect my Kundalini to all their devices, and I was just like going apeshit. And it was weird because my dragon nose was picking up cleaning solution in the living room that I was in, and it smelled weird. And then I thought I saw like dimensional shifts where I was like in a lab where they were testing how I can like transfer my energy into their systems and stuff like that. So it was, I'm like, yeah, look what I can do, and they ended up just hooking me up to all that stuff because it helps me channel what I need to do. You know, it keeps me on the rails when I go, because I don't have to like see everything. I just have to push my energy into a system, and then the system will correlate the energy that I need to go through everything.
Yeah, a lot
And
of
it's,
it
it's
that, and that's why they use this in these programs because we're
yeah, I pretty much used all the technology that they did it against us. I used against them now. So, but we do it in a good way, you know. So, so I got to Saturn. That was great. Uh, the Morgan showed up after I was like really running through it. I ran into nuclear waste. That hurt. He's coughing so much. But reinforcements started coming in, and then I felt the Morgan come in. She's like, I can't have you have all the fun. And then she started doing all her magic, throwing enemies around and stuff with her energy. I've always known her since Atlantis, so I was glad to see her. And then we finally get to the end of the dump to where this person was, and it ended up being like a spike demon, something from like Mario or whatever. It was weird. But the weirdest thing happened. Um, the Ghostbusters showed up. Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and whoever the other guy was. They came in with their contraption, and they pushed me to the side. And Bill Murray was smoking a cigar. What a legend! I was so happy. Like I was like, what? Why are they in? Why are they? But they threw their contraption on and they captured that spirit.
you know what's weird?
And
Real quick about the Ghostbusters, I was telling Chad because I was watching the Ghostbusters like 2 months ago. I don't know why. I was just watching them again. I used to watch them all the time. Well, her
yeah,
apartment number is the same as my apartment number, as Sigourney Weaver. I'm like, what the fuck?
okay. Well, so Curdy Weaver's always in all the sci-fi stuff.
Right?
So,
That's
you
her
know,
apartment number is my apartment number where I live now. I'm like, what the?
well,
No, that can't. What? No. Anyway, that was funny.
that's awesome. That probably definitely a connection there. So yeah, that was Saturn. Um, and then I was watching Lady Gaga videos. I first watched with Bad Ro I watched them before Bad Romance. The one where they show all the lions music video, Poker Face, and it like activated my energies. And then I watched Bad Romance after that, and that whole music video was like it was recorded inside a dump. Like that's their facilities that they have. And if you watch that video closely, her eyes change. They get real like wide and big. It's the weirdest thing. I commented on the video. I'm like, why does her eyes look so weird?
Steve, check this out. And I told Chad already, but look, this is
Yeah.
Lady Gaga. I just made a book on, you know how I make books? Oh, come on, guys. Let me show it. God dang it.
Yeah, the virtual background's getting away. There
That's
you
Lady
go.
Gaga on the cover of magazine. And
Okay.
the book. What? Lady Gaga? There's a lot of shit in those videos, man.
Yeah,
Hmm.
she's involved with all of them. But we were rescuing, so I went as I was watching this video, I started getting the same sensation as the loose energy I got when I went into the facility on the 18th. And I'm just like, oh, here we go again. I gotta go through this crap again. But we at the end of the video, there was this black carcass at the end. I ended up merging, and it just hurt. It hurt my body. It's just like I felt it like go into me. I'm like, oh. I asked Ivan about it. He said that we were just rescuing an elite that didn't make it. So I think we were data mining. We were getting information on all their systems. So I would like absorb people, and then I would give my organization all this information that this guy had from his like DNA and stuff like that, you know. What a time to be alive, you know. Um, I go to an undersea facility, transit systems that go all over the world. I told you about that. It's something about the Deep Six dismantling. That was February 18th, 2023. Funny thing is, typical skeptic, I saw a guy talking about the D6, and this was like a year after I was told that this was what I was a part of dismantling. And it's funny at work, my dad asked me what password I wanted for for the garage code to like get the code back, and I'm like D6.
Oh,
Oh, oh my God. It's funny. Okay, so let's see what's next. Oh yeah, now the Sapphire. So this is when we rebuilt. This is when we really activated the um the blue cord. That I was get this is the name I was given. I asked if anyone else got this name. I went on Starseed Awakening, and someone else said that they got the same message. Operation Ignite the Universal Core. I think that was more of the main. That was like the main mission. I don't know if Sapphire was to rebuild the cosmic barriers or activate grid, but I'm just kind of putting it all together because it all happened in the same month. So I was reconnected to, so July 9th, I was reconnected to base operations. Ivan Teller brought me, he told me I needed to connect it back to my commanders, and that's when I was integrating energy. I couldn't go to sleep. And then I had to go find, and then I had to reconnect my Celtic energy, the dark and the light. I started working with the fairy. She asked me for help. She needed to reconnect back to her higher self. So I helped her. The Arcturians helped me charge my vest with energy. I started laughing manically, and then energy blasted into her body, and she woke up to her higher self. I compared her to Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. She had that type of bravado, her that kind of attitude. Um, we
Funny.
then I so
That,
I go ahead,
sorry, that guy Osiris Raw, he told me I look just like Gamora. But not Gamora,
Gamora.
his, but her sister, the one that was the AI. And it's
Okay.
funny that Ivan told you to connect with your commanders because I might have been your commander. You know, in Halo, the game, they have command.
Yeah.
So this video
Oh
is
my God. Oh my God.
this video is gonna go viral. What?
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's why that happened the other night
It just makes
when you
sense.
connected to my, yeah.
I'm getting
Okay.
everywhere, dude.
Yeah, you liked me a lot.
Just a little. Okay, keep going. Come on. Let's not get distracted.
Uh, uh, I'm just getting only. I'm sorry. Okay, we come on. Why did you have to give me that memory? Now I'm like, okay, so I had to reconnect to the Celtic energy, dark and light. Um, Dan, you connected to me through the fairy that I was interacting with. She gave me the Trinity knot that exploded all over my field, and when I saw myself go into a white dimension, I merged with Sophia, blasted off into this blue star, and I blew it up like 1,000 times the size. And then I started channeling Morgana's LaFay's energy because the fairy that was like part of her energy field. That was like one of her, the fairies have that energy. So I calibrated her energy field with the dark energy, and then I called her back in. She laid that dark energy into my meridians to use. She told me not to take advantage of it and not to like hurt her fairy. She's like, you better take care of her else. I'm like, okay. So then I experienced Helios. That was the first phase of Helios Gamos, was connecting to Sophia and going up to the blue star. Um, then I got back into the inner earth. I had to get in there to anchor energies, to get people back home too. A lot of the portals that were in the inner earth weren't open up for a long time, and when I got back, all these villagers were asked. There are like little dwarves and little elves, and they're happy to see me, and they're asking me about the surface and what was going on, and it was like there was like a big well in the middle of the village, and it was like all medieval. And there was like fields of green, and there was forests and stuff, and I would always hang out in the forest and hang and like sit on the logs and stuff and rest after battles. But I got back, the fairy started connecting to me. They would throw like charged electrical particles of pixie dust around me, and I would like it would blow up my energy. It felt so good. And this came from working with this woman from Texas because she was a very strong fairy energy. So I enter back to Yahweh's sphere on the 14th, 2022. The rabbi there was like, "Oh, we were so worried about you," and I'm like, "Ah, I know." I'm like, "I understand." Like I think in my mind, but he started reading my heart. Our heart started connecting. He asked me if I found my girl, and I was like so jubilant. I'm like, "Yes," you know. And he was flipping through some texts, and I saw that a lot of the texts that were like were they were corrupted. Like he was like flipping through the books, and I was like seeing, you know. And so he lets me walk back. There's a big temple in the back. I go in this temple, and then as soon as I enter this temple, the four-letter words Yohod Vehe get enter my field. Like I see scrolls, open up, and then it gets planted on my forehead and then my forearms too, the four-letter words. So that gives me the power of the Tetragrammaton, which is the energy systems of the tree of life. It's what activates all the fields together. And it was deactivated after the black goo wrapped around all the creation grid. So and Yahweh he was still in the black goo taking care of the archons. He didn't leave yet. He would eventually come back. That's in my book. But he brought me to his throne, and there was just archon energy all over the place. It was that dull yellow energy. I was so uncomfortable there, but he seemed like he was happy to see me. And he was sending me like telepathic messages when I was there, like not to even mention that the archons were around him. So he was kind of just playing devil's advocate, just making sure that I can do my work until he was able to get back.
I don't trust
Um,
him.
no, I do. He ripped up an archon demon that was on his throne. He just
I also
he
heard
ripped
that.
his heart right out. Got back. He came through a yellow, bright yellow Merkaba. I had a freaking black hole open up in my chest. Oh my God, that was
I
talk
just
about like having your consciousness slip through your existence. Like,
just be just be careful with him. That's all I'm gonna say.
no, he gave me his lion. Protection of 1,000 lions. It jumped right out of my chest. Like, whoosh. And I was just like, oh, I felt it. Yeah, a lot of bullshit happened. You know, we had a big black goo problem we were trying to figure out because our family members fucked up. um, so yeah, so that gave me the power to I started playing with the energy. I started seeing triangles open up in the it was like crazy. It was like this dimension. I see like 1,000 triangles like break through dimensions, and then like I can like go like all I was doing all this practicing with it. But the next see like August 14th or whatever, I I read so August 15th I reached Brahma. I was meditating with um oh no, Ivan Teller was doing a live stream. I coded his channel with Diamond Light. I hitchhiked up his channel all the way up to the Brahmins, all the way up to the Hindu spheres. That was so cool. He, me and him work a lot together, you know. But I like it was like I was like Silver Surfer. I climbed it up, and I get up to the Hindu spheres, and then I start praying to like Shiva, and then my Kundalini mentor helped me open up the Brahma universe from my crown, and I put a resonator up there for the diamond light, and then I channeled the energy from there all the way to Yahweh's sphere to re-energize his sphere. So what that did, it gave me access to the celestial spheres, and it reanimated his sphere. Like it was all I saw these rings and these tubes, and then just light just like blasts right through them, right into his. And then I started singing the four-letter words, and then I started singing. I think it was like the Song of Songs, the Solomon's Temple, which is like a love song. I started like singing that, and then I saw diamond triangles like flow from my body into the celestial spheres, into the vortexes of the spheres, recalibrated and everything, prepping up everything till we activate the universal grid with the diamond light and anchor it into the earth.
Well,
Oh,
let me read something here by the Sriman Bhagavatam. Simply
yeah.
by chanting the holy name of the Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. It's just weird though, because these are the blue beans that were when I died here on Earth and I was in the hospital for a month and a half. These blue beans were cut in half in my room as I woke up. I know you can't really see it, but I'll send you like a picture of it. But these guys, these blue beans were fighting for my soul. So somehow I must have whacked them with my powers, or I don't know if I got a sword. You know how swords can come out of your hands or whatever.
Yeah.
Then I killed them all because I told them, you're not gonna keep my soul. And then that's when I saw the white light
Mhm.
around the door, and I opened it. And then I saw
Yeah,
my
that's good.
who had he took his life when I was 13. And I said, Dad, I don't want to go back to Earth. This is before my awakening. This was in 2010 of Halloween.
Okay.
So he's like, you have to go back. You have to go back. And I'm like, so here I am for my children first, and for us to disclose all this, and for the world to help,
Yeah.
yeah. But these guys, you got to also be careful with them, because if you say, I wish something or I want something, they also will take something from you. So we all, you gotta, like I tell you guys, depend on your power only. But go ahead with the rest of your sapphire grid. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so Primus Celeste, that's on the 16th of 2022. And then on the 19th, oh, hold on, let me see. I think, oh, that's 27th. Okay. So this was after. So the 19th of 2022, we activate the Diamond Light and the Universal Grid. I was sitting on my couch and I was meditating and something wanted to connect to me. And then through my mind's eye, I saw a sweeping field emanating from both poles of the universe, of the Diamond Light. And then it all entered into the center, into the earth, and I was the anchor into the inner earth, and it hit my chest. And then it just blew out like millions of diamond triangles out of my chest. My whole body like went way up in frequency. And this is so that so after this occurred, the lion jumped out of my chest, and then the falcon flew out of my head. It was free. My lion and my falcon were free for me to use again. I was able to free them. And it was great because when the blue falcon flew off my head, a little feather landed on top of my head. And then a Buddha connected with my field after that. I was in a really high state. Trauma came out medieval time. I coughed that all out. They put me in a vice, clubbed my head. Um, but then and then I was brought up to the Brahmin universe, the big blue beings, and there was a man there, and I was a woman, I was a female, and he merged with me, and he put a seed in my womb as I was a female, and he was the only one there, and he was putting blue spheres all over, like in a big circle. I saw there was like maybe three or four that he had there, but he had me lay down in the void, this universe, and I was just incubating a big giant universe within my stomach, and I just sat there in very loving energy. So so that was great. I really enjoyed feeling that, you know. Um, so that chart, yeah, so we did that. And then on the 27th, we created that was the second phase of the Helios Gamos. I was sitting in meditation, connecting to Gina. I was through my mind's eye, I was transported to like a grasslands with a castle on the out in the distance. I I I went to the castle. I started morphing into my dragon. I saw the fairy there. My dragon pounced on the fairy, started to have intercourse with it. Morgana's shadow energy. So I activated the shadow energy for this, and this is what really tapped me into my dragon energy. It made me shapeshift. And I started seeing dark queens and stuff, like the dark energy that like activates the dragon essence. So I start shapeshifting into it as I'm pouncing on this fairy. And I was a little hesitant because it was really strong. And I felt like I felt felt bad for the fairy. It's like, oh, I was like, a dragon pouncing on a fairy. You know how big these dragons can be. So like, I didn't want to hurt her, but dragon didn't care. It was like ready to fucking do it. So everything just my sacral blows open. The spikes start coming out of my back. It's real painful, but like it's masked by the sexual energy of the euphoric feelings. And then I feel my wings spread out and like my back like expands and then my phallus just starts pouring out all this golden energy and I was transported to a void within the structure and me and her were together and then our meridians were supercharged with golden energy and then we created this golden barrier around each other and the infinity loop. So that's when that happened. It happened on the 27th, 2022. Um, so that occurred, and that's it. That's what I got.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
I will send you the 3 cards that I got before we started. Was you got the Emperor, and then you got the 5 of Cups, and I'll send you the pictures too.
Hmm.
And then you got the Page of Cups.
Page of Cups. Okay.
So I'll send you all the meanings and everything. But I know it's been a while. And I appreciate Chad and you, Steve,
Yeah,
'cause
Chad reminds you of the person from Camelot.
I know, right? Like King Arthur.
Yeah, he's like a Knights of the Camelot.
Yeah. Chad is very awesome. Do you have any
I
other?
read. Yeah, anyone got questions?
No, a lot resonated with me. I like, certain things you said in there are particular to myself, and so there's, yeah, I enjoyed listening to you because you're able to take it from here and then spiral it out and then spiral it out again, because that's really where it's all happening, here, and then it keeps on going.
Yeah.
I like your shirt, Chad.
Thank you. I'm moving, like I said, so I'm limited. All my nice shirts are down in the other place.
Cool.
I had a t-shirt it today. I apologize. Thank you. And then my background and stuff is all over the place.
Thank you.
But Ender's Game resonates with me pretty strong. That's one of those movies that I've always, is a highlight of my mind and everything.
Yeah, there's certain things that activate or trigger us to do things. It was funny. I was sitting on a rock in the creek, and then my root was vibrating. Then I put that on, and that was when it, like activated a mission for me to do. So
Yeah, they do that. There's a lot of embedded codes in movies and in music, so we have to be very careful. Like, is this me or is it them just wanting me to do something that I'm not supposed to do or that I am supposed to do? But we all have to be careful with that. And
yeah,
Steve, you want to tell everybody your full name, last name,
yeah. Stephen Andrew Scherer,
and are you on Facebook?
SCHERER. Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Go
I
ahead
can
and
give you the links.
yeah. And then what I do usually is I'll just like, it takes a while to convert, the video. I put it up on YouTube, and then after it comes up, then I'll put all your information, but I'll appreciate that. And then I'll friend, I think we're friends on Facebook. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But
we are. I think you added, or I added you like a week or two ago after I asked if I could be on your show. So
yes, awesome. Yeah, because I know you emailed me. So go ahead and send me your info. And then thanks everyone for watching Codebreaker Real Talk. Please share this video, subscribe if you'd like, and we are going to read all your comments. Thank you so much, Chad and Steve. Have a great day, guys.
yeah, you too. Thank you.
You're welcome.